Welcome back to The Charismatic Voice. There are two things I can never get enough of: vocal layering and fantasy. The Witcher, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Brandon Sanderson, you name it. If it is a good fantasy book series and you add some singing with lots of voice to it, I will be a sucker. So, let's see how many times Geoff Castellucci can layer his voice in this song from The Hobbit.
Oh, misty air of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls, and should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over during sun. If this is
Gosh, this is one of those times where I'm like, oh, I should stop it. There's so many things I want to talk about, but oh, I want to hear more. Oh, gosh. I'm drooling already over that intro. And the mms afterward perfectly described how my stomach was feeling. It was like, yeah. So let's go back and talk about how awesome this intro is. I like that ambiance that he added there, the wind.
oh, misty air of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls, and should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over during sun.
This is so funny. The captions are added here. I'm going to go ahead and turn them off. That's something that automatically is done on videos that I go to and navigate to sometimes. And I don't know why. If you guys understand why that automatically happens, even though I just turned them off in the last video I was listening to, let me know. But let's talk about Geoff's execution of this. There are so many things that I could rave about with Geoff's voice. First of all, I mean, I just love how low he can go, right? That's kind of the obvious one. He can just reach so much further down than most people. It's crazy. And then beyond just the normal singing voice, you can actually go into subharmonics, which are a different kind of technique, and go even lower. I don't think he's doing that here. It sounds to me like he's actually going into pulse register here, which different people can call different kinds of things pulse register. Some people will actually call it fry register, which is very different from fry screaming, okay, or vocal fry. Fry register, pulse register. This is when our ears actually perceive the air between the vocal folds going wacka, wacka, wacka. I want to say it's at least below 70 hertz, so 70 repetitions. I think it might be a little bit lower. But at some point, our ears can start to perceptualize the air between the vocal folds vibrating. Most of the time, that's going so fast, we just don't hear. We just hear one steady tone. But when we hear the air puffs, it starts to sound kind of crackly. And you can really hear that here. This is actually probably one of the best examples of that pulse register crackling.
The air
Not
of the
there.
mountain below.
You hear a little. That might be a little mouth noise though.
Careful watch of my brother's souls, and should the sky
so
be
beautiful.
filled with fire and smoke, keep
There.
watching over.
Do you hear that? There's like a creak in there, and you hear the space between there's that area is like a little it almost sounds raspy, but that's us actually hearing that reason for the sound is us hearing the air between the wacka wacka wackas.
Keep watching over during
There it is again. That's so cool. I love that we can hear that so well in Geoff's voice, and his execution of that is just awesome. Now, that's not going to be a registration shift the way you would have between chest and head voice. That's more of a perceptual shift, so not as much functional, just FYI. And other thing I want to talk about here, and then we'll move on, and I'm sure we'll glow over so much more of what he's done. But I love the way, in a few spots in particular, he moves so smoothly from note to note. When he does a jump, it seems like it's very, very quick, but very precise at the same time. When you're singing, it isn't like your vocal folds are going to go stop, next note, stop, next note. If you're going really smoothly, then they're going to wacka, 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 then suddenly speed up and wacka, wacka, wacka. That often means that you'll get like a tiny little slide. The ability to so smoothly go precisely, very, very cleanly to another pitch, it means that he has so much control of that pitch and is able to coordinate going from like 100 hertz per second to 150 hertz, meaning repetitions of wacka, wacka, wacka per second. And having no slide there is just, that kind of technique and cleanliness can be only achieved through years of practice. I'll point out the couple spots that I particularly love with that.
Misty eye of the mountain below. Keep careful watch of my brother's soul.
That's one of them. Just so clean.
And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke,
beautiful.
Keep
it's
watching
pristine.
Over during sun.
Cool woodblock in there too. Ooh, there's a little bit of piano, I think, too. Very subtle, though.
If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, stand by and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside high.
It's amazing how low he has kept this so far. His arrangement skills started out incredible, and they've only become more and more incredible and sophisticated, and he's explored so many different things. It's amazing. I have been watching his stuff for a while, and I'm in awe of how Geoff continues to grow as an artist and wow me. So just like all kudos to him and his team. He's got an amazing, amazing team of people behind. He's keeping it really low right now. I have a feeling we're going to explode into some higher stuff at some point. Often he'll save super lows for a fun climax, like after a drop or something like that. But instead we really started here. So I'm curious what it's going to expand to. And I have to mention, it's actually pretty rare to have so much melody carried in the low. Our ears are naturally drawn to something that's higher. So to feature it in the low means you have to pull all of the high stuff back further in the mix so that we're really drawn in attention to the lows. Really good mixing.
If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, Stand by and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside high.
Just one more note here and then we'll keep going. There's something vulnerable and yet also just simple and pleading in his vocal quality in this first part that it's really touching. Feels like opening. That's beautiful.
Watch the flames burn on the mountainside high. And if we should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time. Calling out, Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky.
I feel like that's about to really expand somewhere else. But let's talk about this high line first. Again, there's just this really beautiful simplicity to it. He's in his enunciation, he's keeping things super casual. He's keeping his mouth honestly fairly relaxed, going for, it sounds like clear vowels, but he isn't overdoing the clarity. It feels kind of like a simple man's plea, essentially. There are moments where I actually feel like his diction is a little similar to some of the diction I hear in Humphreys things, particularly Rob's. There was something in there that really reminded me of Rob's diction. But overall, the vocal line in this high part, it's just going for this pure, unaffected sound.
And if we should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for
It's a nice run.
calling out, Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn.
I think part of the reason this feels like it's got a beautiful extra emotional kick in here is also the way he's arranged in the background. We've got that chorus of voices coming in at different times, but we also have string and piano that are just soft, but creating this sort of emotional surge. It's beautiful. I love this arrangement.
Then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time. Calling out,
Wow.
Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside.
I didn't expect this so much emotion.
Comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, the blood in the breeze. And I hope that you remember me.
Wow. Wow. This actually captures that somberness and fear and sincerity of the situation so beautifully. I think I like this more than original. I mean, wow. Gosh, Geoff has done so many amazing covers, but this just has a different level. This is demonstrating tons of the technique and the wow factors, but they have been taken and put into the message and just perfectly channeled into this like in this transparent plea of somebody who feels like death is about to come. It creates so much somberness, so much weight and beauty, and it also feels like open and cold at the same time. It's a man staring at death and saying, I hope you remember me. Wow. Wow. I will never hear this song the same again. And I'm not even done with it yet. Wow. Okay, back a little more.
Inside the mountain, I see fire.
The starkness of that piano is amazing.
Burning the trees, I see fire. Hollowing souls, I see fire. The blood in the breeze, and I hope that you
Nice though.
remember me. Oh, should my people fall, then surely I will do the same. Confined in my
The percussion that's been added here, right? I don't think this is vocal percussion. Um, the way it's rolling in and out and it's like bouncing around in the sound is really, really awesome. It makes me wonder who mastered this. I think Ed Boyer does a lot of their mastering, but I'm not sure if that was him here. But just shout out to whoever has done this. I love essentially that the soundscape that is being created. It's really, it feels like it's so incredibly intricate without being overcomplicated.
remember me.
It's like an almost physical experience with that percussion.
Oh, should my people fall, then surely I will do the same. Confined in mountain halls, we got too close to the flame. Calling out, Father, oh, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation.
You know, if I didn't know Jeff's voice, I wouldn't have known that that was the same singer. It has so many same qualities. I would just think it was a nice blend of the voices. He's able to successfully sing solo lines across so many octaves. This man's range is insane.
And in mountain halls, we got too close to the flame. Calling out, Father, oh, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire and blood in the breeze. And I
There's such a beautiful use of occasionally having parallel octaves in there versus a more dense kind of harmony. He's, again, often alternating between adding just layers in, like adding complexity, and then bringing it back to what feels like our just simple man idea. And I think that could be a reflection of the motion, sort of these surges that a person has when they're facing such incredible stakes. I'm going to come back here. There's a couple other things I just want to point out about his enunciation. A lot of times when we're talking about traditional singing technique, we'll talk a lot more about opening the mouth. You can achieve really clear enunciation without opening your mouth a ton. And he is, part of his ability to keep the casualness is having to do with how far his jaw is dropping or not. So I'll point out a couple spots, especially, I know there are a lot of you out there who are a patron of Geoff's and you'll get those backing tracks and sing along with them. By the way, if you don't know that that's possible to do, he has an amazing Patreon and we'll give you the backing track so you can sing his parts. It's so cool. I love that. And if you're singing along with him, I encourage you to really think about your mouth shape if you're trying to sound like him. And notice if, especially if you've done a lot of training in singing, notice if you are actually enunciating your vowels a lot more, because Geoff is definitely on the side of a lot less than most people.
Desolation comes upon the sky.
That's actually a really good example. Sky has an ah and an e vowel. It's a diphthong, right? So sky. If I were singing this in opera, I would elongate the ah on the front, ska, and it would be pretty open. Ska, a lot of space there, and he keeps it kind of close. Sky, very, very subtle, but it's key to the kind of sound he's getting here.
The mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain.
That's the other one. Mountain. It's another diphthong, right? Ow. So that first one, mountain, if I was really gonna enunciate it, I would have way more drop in my jaw. He keeps it mountain, really, really pretty closed here. Just keep in mind, he's getting a lot of clarity in his enunciation because he is really sticking, Gah. Sorry, I had to take a moment to cough out some leftover bits of COVID there. He's getting that enunciation really clear because he is sticking his vowel enunciation still in a very specific spot. It isn't mushy, it is specific, and the tongue is moving quite a bit to achieve those clearer vowels. Let's go back just a little more.
Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire.
That's beautiful. That's a great example of where he actually thinned the harmony out just a little bit, but because they dropped the back stuff and went into parallels, it became a lot bigger.
Burning the trees, I see fire. Hollowing souls, I see fire.
I love that lighting too.
And blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. I hope that you and if
one more time, I'm going to go back here. Just shout out to where he's filming this. What a beautiful set. I love the depth of it. I think it's, when you're filming this kind of thing, there's a certain simplicity that is really desired. It can become overcomplicated, especially if you've done tons of vocal layers. And I feel that he's achieved just the right balance here, right? With 4 people, you could have a 5th if you wanted. The background has some interest, right? We've got a little bit of fire there. There's some other fun, obviously the costume and everything is really fun as well. But it's interesting and gives you the ambiance without taking away from just the beautiful music he's written and sung.
and blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. I hope that you. And if the night is burning, I will cover my eyes. For if the dark returns, and my brothers will die, and as the sky is falling down, it crashed into this lonely town, and with that shadow upon the ground, I hear my people screaming out. Now I see fire.
The thin yet powerful high that he has here is just so amazing. It's not like wow amazing if it was like a naturally sitting high tenor, but because he's a like low sitting kind of guy, when you get up here and you have this kind of lean cut, it's just, his voice is an anomaly. It's incredible. I am flabbergasted when I hear him that he's been able to develop so many different facets of it. And he's just the ideal person to be layering his voice 10 billion times like this.
With that shadow upon the ground,
Right? It's got cut, it's got bite up there. Wow. Ooh, I like those strings. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Jeez, that sound at the end was so cool. The echo of people saying, I hope that you remember me, it just pounds further home the desperation and the gravity of this situation. Beautiful. Congrats to Geoff and his team for achieving yet again a greater new height. I loved especially the emotional impact of this. It really gets me. It actually changed the song for me. And I just have so much respect for all of his artistry and vocal technique, of course. If you guys want to see some more analysis that I've done of Geoff's singing, both on his own and with voice play, you can check out this playlist over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.